They thought they could shake the most dominant navy on Earth. Instead, they sent a $60 million fighter jet plunging to the bottom of the Red Sea. On April 28, 2025, what started as a routine operation aboard the USS Harry S. Truman turned into a full-blown crisis. An FA-18E Super Hornet was being towed across the deck. Seconds later, it was gone, dragged overboard along with the tow tractor. And it all unfolded in the middle of an actual attack. This wasn't peacetime. The Truman was under fire. Iranian-backed Houthi rebels had launched a barrage of drones and missiles. As the ship pulled evasive maneuvers, the chaos on deck reached a breaking point, and a fighter jet slipped into the sea. One sailor was hurt, the jet was lost, and the price tag was staggering. But the real cost? The realization that this fight is only getting more dangerous. And this wasn't some random equipment failure. It was a message, a shot across the bow, a reminder that the Red Sea is now an active combat zone, and the United States is knee-deep in it. The Truman was already on high alert. The carrier strike group had been deployed to monitor Houthi activity near Yemen. That morning, intel picked up chatter. An attack was coming. The crew moved fast, sensors on, eyes on the skies. Then radar lit up. Multiple inbound targets. Fast, low, and hostile. Drones likely armed. Some decoys. The defensive systems roared to life. CIWS guns spun up, Aegis radars locked on, and the crew braced for impact. On the flight deck, a towing crew was moving a Super Hornet across the surface. As the Truman began its evasive maneuvers, twisting hard to avoid incoming threats, the jet broke free. Wet metal. Sudden inertia. 5 seconds later, it was gone, sliding off the edge like it was never there. The tow tractor followed. A nearby sailor was injured but survived.
The $70 million fighter jet sinking into the sea, and tonight the question surrounding how this happened. Here's Trevor Ault.
The aircraft lost to the depths. Officially, the Navy called it a non-combat accident, but the people on board knew better. This happened because of combat. This was war, unfolding in real time, and the Truman didn't stop. Even after the jet went overboard, aircraft kept launching. The crew stayed locked in, because in hostile waters with 5,000 lives on board, there's no pause button. The loss wasn't just a headline, it was an escalation. The Houthis weren't just poking at America's defenses, they were trying to prove a point, and the Navy heard them loud and clear. The Truman hadn't been sent to the Red Sea for show. By April 2025, Houthi rebels had been targeting American drones, disrupting shipping routes and attacking Allied forces. The Red Sea, once a key global trade corridor, had become a battleground. Just weeks earlier, the Houthis claimed they'd shot down 7 US MQ-9 Reapers. That's almost $200 million in drones. And they weren't bluffing, they were sending a message. We can reach you anywhere. So the Truman wasn't just there to defend, it was there to send its own message. A 100,000-ton floating airbase doesn't go unnoticed. It brings firepower, it brings strategy, and it brings consequences. Under Operation Rough Rider, the Truman was flying constant missions, hitting Houthi radar arrays, weapon depots, and command centers inside Yemen. But that visibility came at a cost. The Houthis adapted. They started testing new tactics. Drone swarms, multi-angle attacks, radar spoofing, all aimed at US ships. And on April 28th, they found an opening. While the Truman dodged drone attacks, a fighter jet was lost not in a dogfight, but in the chaos the enemy created. The Houthis saw a chance to create a symbolic win. No missiles had to hit the Truman. Forcing it to scramble, shift, and lose assets was enough. So how did the Navy respond? Quietly, but forcefully. Satellite imagery, drone recon, and intercepted comms gave the U.S. everything it needed. Launch sites in the hills of Yemen were identified, mobile radar units, drone facilities, command bunkers, and just hours after the incident, the retaliation was underway. First off the deck were EA-18G Growlers, jamming enemy radars and scrambling sensors. Then came the Super Hornets, armed with JDAMs and HARM missiles. Simultaneously, Arleigh Burke-class destroyers launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, each aimed at GPS-locked targets. Within minutes, explosions lit up the Yemeni landscape. Radar sites vanished, communication hubs went dark. The Houthis weren't just hit, they were blinded. And yet, this wasn't about revenge. It was about maintaining control. Operation Rough Rider has seen over 800 precision strikes since March. April 28th was just one link in a long chain of calculated responses. But every hit carries risk. Every drone strike, every missile launch, could spiral into a wider conflict. The Red Sea is critical, not just for the Navy, but for the world. About 10% of global trade flows through this narrow corridor. Disrupt it, and the impact reaches every corner of the globe. That's what makes this incident so important. A $60 million jet falling into the sea during a drone attack isn't just a mishap, it's a warning. If a US carrier group can be forced into evasive action, imagine what happens to an unprotected container ship. The Houthis are no longer lobbing homemade rockets. They're using advanced drones, GPS-guided missiles, and Iranian-supplied tech. And they're getting bolder. Each attack isn't just military, it's propaganda, a way to show they can force a superpower to flinch. And while the Navy doesn't flinch easily, it's now operating on a knife's edge. Every response has to be fast, precise, and strategic, because a single mistake could ignite a larger war. So no, the Super Hornet didn't go down by chance. It went down in the middle of a battle, one that's only intensifying, and as long as the Houthis keep firing, the Navy will keep firing back. Harder. This isn't just about one aircraft. It's about what comes next. Was this a freak accident? Or is it proof that the situation in the Red Sea is spiraling? Let us know what you think in the comments. Should the US ramp up its response or start rethinking its role in this conflict? And if you're here for real frontline reporting, carrier operations, and the kind of military breakdowns you won't see anywhere else, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and most importantly, join the crew, because this mission is far from over. Stay alert, stay informed, and stay ready.